Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, where I try and show you the fun that can be had in the wonderful world of variant Sudoku. Today I'm going to be doing this using a puzzle called Hush Through the Fog by Megan033. And this puzzle is using the fog constraint, which is pretty much the most popular constraint in the Sudoku community at the moment. Anything that involves fog is just instantly popular. So, I did notice that this puzzle has had a lot of solves, so I think this has been solved on a channel before. Not sure which one, but I wanted to explore the channel, so if you have seen this before, I'm sorry. But there are a lot of Sudoku channels out there now, and a lot of them are really worth checking out. So you could possibly search and see who else has solved this one before. I might try and do that. But for now, I want to solve this for me, and possibly for you. So, yeah, Hush Through the Fog by Megan033, the fog constraint, really popular. If I really wanted to grow the channel, I should just do lots of fog puzzles, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to see what I can, I just solve the puzzles I get and have fun with them. So, if I start just doing lots of fog puzzles, yeah, I think that would be silly. So what are the rules of Hush Through the Fog? So we've got normal Sudoku rules. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Now, it's the last rule given in the rules of the puzzle, but I'm going to give it next because it's the most obvious question, which is what's all the grey stuff? Well, that's the fog. And you'll notice that there's a lot of constraints and everything that you can't see all of because the fog is rendered over the rest of the clues in the grid, and therefore hides them. So what happens is, for example, this line is actually moving into this cell. This dot is actually on the line between these two cells, and you can't see all of it because anything obscured by fog isn't going to be fully visible until the fog is cleared. And you clear the fog by, say, I put a digit into this cell and it's correct. All of the digits around here will be removed. But like with any Sudoku grid, only placing a correct digit will remove the fog. Now, people say, but it's possible to cheat this way because the puzzle gives you feedback when you enter a correct digit. And people say fog is a bit easy because you can just enter all the digits, clear the fog, and then you know what the correct digit is. You can do that with any Sudoku grid. A lot of Sudoku solving apps, including Sudoku Pad, if the setter has put the correct solution, allows you to check your project or progress. You can, in Sudoku Pad, you can often hit the check mark and confirm that the digits you've entered are correct. You can do that at any time. So you could put a digit in and say, is this correct? Yes, no. Put another digit in. Is this correct? Yes, no. You can do that on any Sudoku grid. That's not a problem. It's just this gives you direct feedback. You don't need to do that, however. So that's how the fog works. What are the other rules? So there is one and only one green German whisper line along which adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 5. So along this German whisper line, adjacent digits will have a difference of at least 5. Now we can say that this line goes into this cell from here and this line goes into this cell. As a general thing, if it hits the edge of a cell, it is moving into the next line. If it was going to stop in this cell, it would stop in the middle of the cell or at least it would be clear it's not moving on. Normally when a line hits the edge of a cell, it is moving into the next cell. Adjacent digits connected by an X must sum to 10. So these two digits will sum to 10. These two digits will sum to 10. It doesn't say anything about not all dots being shown. So I'm assuming it's X pairs, which means it'd be perfectly fine if there was no X under the fog for these two cells to sum to 10. Black dot between cells indicates values with a 2-to-1 ratio. So for example, these two cells are in a 2-to-1 ratio, or one is double the other. A white dot between cells indicates that cells are with the consecutive values, so these digits must be consecutive, which means have a difference of 1. Not all dots are shown, which means somewhere in the grid there must be digits that are in a 2-to-1 ratio without a dot, and the same with consecutive. And then there's the fog rule. So they're the rules of the puzzle. With that, apparently this is solvable. And as I said, it's had over 1,000 solved, so it's been shown on some channel, not sure who. As I said, you could search for that. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer, which I've just done. Let's give this a shot. So there's a lot going on here, isn't there? So, okay, what do we know about German whisper lines? You can never put a 5 on a German whisper line. Now, I couldn't on these cells anyway because of the X, because if this is a 5, this would be a 5. But let's talk about the German whisper lines. Ignoring the X, if this was a 5, I couldn't put a value into that cell. Because to have a 5 difference, you either have to add 5 or more or subtract 5 or more. If I added 5 or more, the digit would have to be 10 or higher. If I subtracted it, it'd have to be 0 or lower, not valid. So you never put a 5 on a German whisper line. So every digit has to either be below 5 or above 5. If a digit is below 5, the digit that's next to it can't also be below 5 because the maximum difference is 1 to 4, which is only a difference of 3. So the digit next to it would have to be above 5. Okay, so if you have a low digit, the next digit is high, and the same is true. If you've got a high digit, you can't put a high digit next to it, the maximum difference is 3. So moving along German whisper lines, you are always going to alternate below 5, above 5, below 5, above 5, or alternate high-low. We call that alternating polarity. So let's call this one dark green, and let's call this one purple. The reason is an X clue must always contain a low digit and a high digit, because if it was 2 low digits, you can't put a 5 on an X for the same reason. 2 low digits, the maximum is 3 and 4, which is not 10, it's 7. And 2 high digits, the minimum is 6 and 7, which is 13, not 10. So you always have to have a high and a low digit. It's 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, or 4, 5. 4, 6. So, and the same is true down here, but I can't see how this line would have to connect, because this could go here, here, here. This could go here, here, here. This may stop here and this may stop here. So there's multiple ways of this working. So I'm not sure how this works. Now the question is, can this connect up? Like, could this be purple? For this to be purple, this would have to be 4, 5, 6, and that doesn't work. Okay, this has to be green because of the consecutive dots. This is the X's, the lines, and the consecutive dots working together, and that's really cool. So if this was purple, so if this was, because it has to either be green or purple. Green is either below 5 or above 5. I don't know which it is, but it's one of the two. For this to be purple, that would mean that these are, one of them is below 5 and one of them is above 5. But because they're connected by consecutive dots, it would have to be as close as possible as we could get. And this would have to be, one of them would have to be 4, one of them would have to be 6, and this would have to be 5. But if this is 4, this is 6, and this couldn't be 6. Or if this is 6, this is 4, and this couldn't be 6. So I can't make those 4 and 6 connected by a 5. So this has to be the same, and this has to be green, and this has to be purple. And if this is green, this is purple. And if this is green, this is purple. So I've got all 4 purples. This now can't be a 5 because if this was, so this has to be green, because if this was the only thing it could be if it's not green is 5, but I can't go 4, 5, 4. It doesn't work. So this has to be green. So 5 is up here. With a green. But I've got 2 different. So this has to be, there must be a high digit on here, which means it must be 3, 6 or 4, 8. Because on a black dot, you must use a low digit and it's even double. And I can't use 1, 2 on here because they are both the same color. I can't use 2, 4. They're both the same color. So this is 3, 6 or 4, 8. Could that be 4 or 6? If this is 4, well, no, hang on. If this is 4, 6, does that work? No, it doesn't. Because if this is 4, 6, the 4, 6 here would make this 1, 9. Because the only thing that can go next to 4, 6 on a German whisper line is 1 or 9. So if this is 4, 6, this is 1, 9. But if this is 1, 9, this becomes 2 or 8. But because the 1 would make this a 2. So if this is 6, this becomes 1, this becomes 2, and 2 and 6 doesn't make it work. If this is 4, then this becomes 9. 9 makes this 8, and 4 and 8 doesn't sum to 10. So this is the 3 or the 8. This is the 4 or the 6. If this is a 4 or a 6, this is a 1 or a 9. So this is a 1 or a 9. 3 or 8 means this is 2 or 7. 2 or 7 gives me some freedom. But this means the line ends here. This green line must end here. Because if this line was to continue anywhere, I'd need another green one, and it can't go into that cell because this cell has no fog on it. This line ends here. So this line ends here or somewhere up here. It could go into that cell. Yeah, it could go into that cell if this cell... Well, hang on. I know this is 2 or 8. Hang on, this is 1, 2, 3. This can't be an 8. Because this is 1, 2, 3 or 9, 8, 7. This can't be an 8. This is a 3. Ah, right, I forgot to mention this. I'm doing this in the beta version of Sudoku Pad. I'm going to get rid of all of the colouring now, I think. I'm doing this in the beta version of Sudoku Pad, which means I'm doing it with the fog. Oops, I am going to put the 3 back in. You'll notice there's this puff of fog clearing. I will provide 2 links below. One is to the standard version and one is to the beta version of Sudoku Pad. And in the beta version of Sudoku Pad, Sven has got this puff of fog clear that I think is really cool. But it may not work on every device yet, so I'm going to provide both links below. That makes this 7. 3 has to go to 2 and then to 1, which makes this the 9. This has to be the alternate polarity, so this is the 6. And I can undraw these lines. I don't like colouring as much in 7 can't be consecutive with 6. I've already got it. So this is the 8. And this is a 4-5 pair. Okay, so this has to be a high digit. So it's 6, 7, 8, or 9, and it's not a 7. If that was a 6, this would also have to be a 1, so it's not a 6. This is an 8 or a 9, so this is a 1 or a 2. This has to be a high digit, 7, 8, 9. It can't be a 7 because 3 and 7 are only 2 apart. So this is an 8 or a 9, so this is a 1 or a 2, and I've got a 1, 2 pair. But this now has to be a low digit without being a 3, but there's only one German whisper line. So this is a low digit. So it's 1, 2, or 4, but it can't be a 4 because this line must continue because there's only one German whisper line. So this line must connect up to this. So if this was a 4, however this line continues is broken. This can't be a 4. Now this is a low digit, 2, 3, or 4. And for the same reason, this line continues. It can't be a 4 or both of those would have to be 9. Now this could be 9, this could be 8, 9, I think, if that's a 3. But this being a 2 means this is a 1 or a 4, and if it's 3, it's a 6. Okay, this line must continue into here and into here. Okay. So this is a high digit, and it's not 6 or 8, so it's 7 or 9. But I could go 2, 7, I think. But if this is a 7, I would need a 1. It would have to go up or down. But I don't see why I couldn't go down here. This would be 2, 1. Do I need to keep colouring high-low? I don't like colouring fog puzzles. Okay, I know these, let's do it. These are all high. I like to use yellow for high. These are all low, which is blue. This is low. This is high. I need to move to a low digit. But for example, this could be a 4 if I went down. Like if this is 9, 4, I could put another 9 there, I think. Oh, this isn't a 4. This is 1 or 6 because of the 4, 5. 1, 2. This moves to a high digit. But I've got lots of places I can do that. Now, this was sent to me as an easy puzzle, so I'm obviously missing something incredibly obvious. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. These are different digits. I have this multi-level coloring because these 1, 2s are different. So these are different. It's got to be the way the line grows, doesn't it? I mean, I've just gotten back from a long holiday and my brain is mush, but I didn't think it was this much mush, particularly considering I was told this was like a 1-star puzzle. Oh, this can't be 1, 2. If this is a 1, that's a 2 and that's broken. This is 6 and this is 3, which means this can't be a 7. That's a 9. That's an 8. The 8 makes that the 2, which makes that the 1, which makes that the 9. That makes that the 2. Yeah, no, that was not hard. That was just BremSter being blind. Okay, that's fine. I probably don't need all this colouring, but we'll see how we go. So this is a low digit. It's 2 or 4. This is a high digit, which is 6, 7, or 8. It can't be 6 because it's already next to a 2. So a 2 here would mean this is a 1 or a 4. A 4 here would mean this is a 2 or an 8, and it can't be a 2 or an 8. So this can't be a 4. This is a 2, which I'll mark as low. This is a high digit, 7 or 8, because it can't be a 6 because it's next to a 2, and it can't be a 9. This here is a low digit, 1, 2, or 3. And this goes into the same cell. So this is a low digit. Wait, what? No, it's a high digit. My brain is mush. This is a high digit. This must be a 7 because it sees a 6, 8, or 9. So this must be a 1 or a 2, but this is an 8, leaving those to be a 1 or a 2. Sorry, that was just a mistake. This is the 1 or the 2. This is also a low digit. This is now a high digit. This is now a low digit. So this is a 1 or a 4 because this is also a low digit, and the 7 makes that the 1 and that the 4. This is a high digit, so it's 6 or 9. Oops. And it can't be a 6 because if this is a 6, both of those are 1. That's the 9. This is a 3 or a 4. So this has to be consecutive with 3 or 4. If this is 3, this would have to be 2 or 4, and it can't be. So that's the 4, meaning that's the 9, which is also a high digit. This has to be now 3 or 5. The 9 means this is a low digit, so it's 2 or 3. This is now a high digit, which is only 6, 7, or 8, and it can't be 6 because it can't be next to a 1. Yeah, this is not hard. I just had a couple of blind moments. So these, well, 6 is a high digit, and these are 1, 5, and 7. There's no 5 up there, so that's the 5. These are 1 and 7, but this is now known. That's the 6 that has not been placed. These are 3, 4, and 5. There's no 3 in those. That's the 3, which is a low digit. Raise your glass to freedom. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm in a massive Hamilton mood. Deal with it. I've had many people tell me I should start singing on the Confetti 3. That's what I've picked. Yep, I'm a Hamilton fan. This is a low digit. This is a high digit. The low digit is 3 or 4, which means that can't be a 7 because the 7 would only be 3 or 4 away. So that's the 8, puff of fog. 8 can't be next to 4, so that's the 3. This is a high digit, which can't be 6 or 9, so it's 7 or 8, and 7 is only 4 away, so that's the 8. This is a low, low, high, low, high, low, high. So a low here is 1 or 4, and I can't put 4 next to 8, so that's the 1. This is high without being 8 or 9. It's got to stay in the right mode, 6 or 7. Low, this is 1 or 4, but 4 can't go next to 6 or 7. That is the 1. This is a high, so it's 6. Wow, mode changing, 6, 7, or 8. This is high, so it's 6, 7, or 8, giving me a 6, 7, 8 pair, meaning triple. So one of those has to be a 6, so that is a 1. Now, this is a 6, 7, 8 triple. This has to be 5 or 9. Because the 6, 7, 8 triple, this has to be consecutive with 6, 7, or 8, but it can't be 6, 7, or 8. That's 5 or 9, meaning that can't be a 7. That's 5 or 9. The 1 looks up making that the 7. Wow, this mode changing is breaking my brain, isn't it? What is going wrong with my mode changing today? I'm just out of practice with the keyboard strokes. This is the high digit. No, other way around. This is the high digit. This is the low digit. So this is the 7 and this is the 1. I'm really struggling with my mode changing today. Hopefully I'll get better at it. So 2 is in one of those two. This is a low digit. So this is 2 or 3. And if this is 2 or 3, because it can't be a 1, that can't be a 6. That's the 8. So that's the 9. There's no 8 there. What? I didn't even mode change then. So that's the 6, which is the high digit. And that's the 7, which means this is a 1 or a 2. 3 is too close. That's the 2. That's the 3. That's the... no. Again, that was... and this has to be a 1 or a 2 to be next to a 7, but it can't be a 1. That's the 2. This is a high digit. Mark it as a high digit. It's not 6 or 9, so it's 6 or 8, but I can't put 6 next to 2 or 3, so that's the 8. This is a high digit. These are known. They are 5 and 6. And I've revealed all of the line. I think I can get rid of the coloring now. It's definitely causing me more problems than it needs to be. But I'm having fun, and that's what matters. 3 is in one of those two by Sudoku. 9 is in one of those two by Sudoku. 8 is in one of those two by Sudoku. That's not a 2 anymore. That's a 2, which puts 2 there. Is still the only digit I haven't placed. Could be 6 or 7, I think. So what am I missing in column 5? 3, 4, 8. So that's a 4 because it can't be 3 or 8. And this is a 3, 8 pair, meaning that's the 5. So what am I missing in column 6? 3, 6, 7. So this is 6 or 7. So this is the 3, this is a 6, 7, and it's not a 6. That's the 7, that's the 6. These are 4, 7. So these are 5, 9. And there's already a 9 in row 7. That's the 5, that's the 9. So in row 7, 1 and 4 have not been placed. And there's already a 1 in box 7. 4, 1. The 4 looks up making that the 5 and that the 4. So in column 2, I haven't put a 7, making that the 4 and that the 7. So now in row 6, 3, 5, 9. Yeah, 3, 5, 9. That can't be a 9. That can't be a 3. That can't be a 9. So the 3, 5 pair makes that the 9, clearing the fog. I have now puffed all my fog. Okay. Down here, I need 4, 5, and 6. Can't put 4 in either of those, so that's the 4. This becomes a 5, 6. The 4 looks up making that the 5 and that the 4. So in this column, 7 and 8, and there's a 7 here, making that the 8 and that the 7. The 8 makes that the 3 and that the 8. The 3 looks across saying that's not the 3, that's the 3. So that's the 5, that's the 6, that's the 5, that's the 6. So this is no longer a 9, that's the 9. This is a 6, 7 for the row. So this is the 5 that hasn't been placed. The 7 is looking down, making that the 6 and that the 7. In here, I need to put a 4 in one of those two. Yeah, 4 is not in either of those. That's the 4. So these are 5 and 6. The 5 makes that the 6 and that the 5. This is now a pair, which is 1 and 3, and I'll use the 1 to make that the 3 and that the 1. This is a 1-star puzzle. I'm just way out of practice. Hush Through the Fog by Megan033. I should have mentioned before I started the puzzle that I was going to provide 2 links, but I forgot to do that. It happens. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying. I'm going to try and solve a couple of puzzles and get back into the swing of things. It's been a heck of a week. Thanks everyone. And as always, good luck with your solving.